What up, y'all? It is Jamba here with another video. You're gonna have to excuse me. I'm still a little sick, but I wanted to touch on this. Okay, we got three comedians on the screen, right? We got Dave Chappelle, one of the goats, a current goat, if you will. And then we have Cat Williams to the on the right, definitely one of the greats. Been very relevant recently. And in the middle, a non-goat, Mr. Corey Holcomb. Now, Corey Holcomb has like his podcast. I'm not sure what his podcast is called. And this is a Corey Holcomb clip. And apparently there's quite a bit to this. Obviously, there was a Cat Williams interview where he was, unloading the clip, if you will, on a number of black comedians. Um, Dave Chappelle in a he actually went viral relatively recent, yeah, a couple days ago. Him and D. Ray Davis were on stage, and Dave Chappelle was quite vocal about his criticism on Cat Williams going after other black comedians because, to his point, Cat Williams did not. I hope I didn't say Kevin Hart earlier. I always think Dave Chappelle went at Cat Williams for going after other black comedians. Okay, look, y'all should kind of know the saga, this black comedian saga by now. And I think that Dave Chappelle had some good points. I mean, Cat Williams did only fired rounds at other black male comedians. Like Kevin Hart, Cedric the Entertainer. I think he went at Ludacris, was not even a comedian. Travis Smiley, that Smiley guy, I forgot his name. Ricky something Smiley, and a few others, right? I mean, you've all look, man. The clips went viral, so y'all know the whole Cat Williams thing. And Dave Chappelle said his piece, and I respect it. I may not agree with everything he said, but he said his piece. And then D. Ray Davis's goofy ass was up there too. I ain't got no problems with D. Ray Davis, besides him not being all that funny to me. But he was up there. I'm just kind of like, why is him and Dave Chappelle on the same stage? I know that they've done stuff together, but D. Ray is nowhere. He's not on the same level as like a Dave Chappelle. But in any case, I know these people, powwow with each other and make money and all that, which is great. So now we got Corey Holcomb. He got his opinion on things. Let's see what the title says, because the title sometimes just says it all. He's hot garbage. Corey Holcomb goes in on Dave Chappelle for talking about Cat Williams. Oh, Jesus. So now we have a black comedian talking about another black comedian for talking about another black comedian who was criticizing black comedians. You see how this is kind of like an Ouroboros? So this is just so now after this, you're gonna have another black comedian talking about Corey Holcomb for talking about Dave Chappelle, for talking about Cat Williams, for talking about, like, it's like this whole fucking, like, when is this gonna end, right? Okay, this is about a 2-minute clip. So let's I have not seen this. So let's take a look.
To grow on social media, you need to make video content. But video content takes a long time to make. Try Veep to speed up the video content creation workflow. You can begin creating from templates.
My nigga Dave Chappelle be bombing like a motherfucker. I'm just keeping it real, dog.
Now, before I even dig into this, do I like Corey Holcomb? I think that he has some okay takes. Is he all that funny to me? Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Let me be fair, man. Because Corey can kind of similar to an Aries. I will say this. Corey is similar to an Aries Spears. They're both fat black comedians who talk shit about other more successful comedians who both got podcasts. I think the Corey Holcomb podcast is probably significantly more popular than Aries. Like Aries Spears' podcast is not really like I see Corey Holcomb's podcast go viral far more than Aries Spears, and I see Aries Spears' clips actually go more viral on Vlad TV. But they're both kind of considered sort of haters. I don't know. I like Aries Spears more. I only mention Aries Spears because again, they're like in the same kind of family, like fat black hatericious comedians. There's something about Corey that rubs me a little bit more of the wrong way. Like he comes across as a little bit more hatery than like an Aries Spears. What's the other fat? No, there's another fat black comedian who I low key kind of roasted him. Faizon loves chicken. Faizon loves chicken is another fat black male hating ass comedian too. It's there's something about these fat black male hating ass comedians that they just be fucking hating on other comedic more successful ass niggas than them. It's just you ever notice that? Has anybody ever noticed that? Is usually a fat. They're fat. They're black and fat. I guess the only fat black male comedian who don't be hating is Cedric the Entertainer, who Cat Williams was talking shit about, right? So Cedric the Entertainer, and I like Cedric, but another fat black comedian, but he don't be hating. I don't know. Maybe it's because he's too busy doing movies and he's on TV. He's on The Neighborhood, which is a pretty funny show. Anyway, so let's rewind. Let's rewind this and let me just put my hand. I'm gonna click it and I'm gonna put my hands up. I'm not gonna pause, y'all. I promise. I'm not gonna pause. Okay, I might pause.
My nigga Dave Chappelle be bombing like a motherfucker. I'm just keeping it real, dog. I have watched, whenever they say, hey, everybody, guess what? Special guest, Dave Chappelle. I'll be like, damn. It's finna be hot garbage for at least an hour, maybe 2. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not trying to shit on the brother, but he needs to understand you throwing your weight around too much, man. Standing up.
You have some fucking nerve to talk about throwing weight around. You get out of bed throwing fucking weight around. Do you see how he just the Corey throwing weight around?
They're smoking with them irregular shirts on, bombing all the time. But if you go watch Dave Chappelle do stuff
now, I told myself, I told y'all, I promised y'all I was gonna pause. Fuck it.
Stand up. It was an old man at the Improv just stood up while Dave Chappelle was on stage. And he said, Dave, are you gonna crack some jokes? If I'm lying, I'm dying. Yeah. D-Ray that was down there. I know D-Ray, y'all don't want no parts of this. You don't want to burn bridges with the mighty Dave Chappelle. I don't want to burn bridges with the mighty Dave Chappelle. But fuck that. My nut's too big. I watch
your gut too big. Fat jokes are pretty, I'll admit they're pretty low. They're low. All right. They are low.
Dave Chappelle finna go up. I'll be like, well, shit, let me get the fuck out of here. Because he is not about to deliver. He's about to talk to the crowd like the big homie. So if we didn't get to a world where motherfuckers could be like, I done put in work, so I ain't got to be funny, then motherfucker, I'm not trying to be part of that. But let's go back to the shit he said about the white comics. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to pause it right there. I think that's a good part to pause on. Now, fat jokes aside and the shit that he was saying, he's actually not wrong. Dave Chappelle has gotten less funny over the years, especially in the past, like as soon as he started talking about trans people, that's when the trans jokes are actually, in my opinion, that's where he actually is trying to be funny, but everything kind of around it, because like he'll make like an hour special and it seems like he has like some actual jokes for about 35% of his specials. A lot of it is his. I mean, I'm not the only one who's commenting on this. He goes up on stage, he takes a seat, he smokes a cigarette, and takes about 5 minutes to light his motherfucking cigarette, and just kind of talking to the crowd. And it's kind of like him. It is kind of like you're talking to your uncle, and every so often he says something really funny. I mean, it's kind of sad because to be fair, his specials, in my opinion, are still some of the better specials that I'll see on Netflix. But I think that's primarily because most of the other specials that I see on there aren't very good. I think Marlon Wayans did a really, really great special last year. I think Chris Rock's special was okay. Kevin Hart's that I saw, I think that was on Peacock, was pretty good. And I know these are like the big hitters, and there's like, I don't want to just leave out the comics that are like up and coming, right? I know Matt Rife did a special a while back, but I think that he's talking about Dave Chappelle when he's doing just not open mics, but when he's like actually like doing comedy in real life and warming up and creating his new material. I think that's kind of part of it, right? It's like you, from my understanding, these comics before they do their big specials, they do go up and try new material and they talk on stage, and a lot of it may not be necessarily funny. So what Corey is saying is making sense, but I think that is how Dave Chappelle or like any comedian just kind of garners their material and see what's working, what's not working. But I do think that Dave Chappelle, I'm not sure if he's slowing down. I'm not sure kind of what's necessarily going on. But it doesn't. And look, he's older, so he's not going to have that same spunk. He's not going to be the fucking Dave Chappelle from the Nutty Professor. Remember the Nutty Professor Dave Chappelle, or Undercover Brother Dave Chappelle, or just a Chappelle Show Dave Chappelle? Like he's not going to be that anymore. Like something. Ever since that whole, you know, I think it was Netflix that fucked him over, or comedy. Something happened where he got screwed over. Um, I'm not going to go into the history of that, but ever since then, and like it's just recently, he just slowed down, and which makes sense, right? It makes sense. But is Corey Holcomb hating? A little bit. He's hating a little bit just because Corey Holcomb himself is a comedian. Um, I can't think of a Corey Holcomb joke or a Corey Holcomb special or a Corey Holcomb bit. When I think of Corey Holcomb, I think of two things. I think of him just talking shit on his podcast, and I think of him being, because I looked up Corey Holcomb's filmography, and he played a super country father dude on, like, he was in Like Mike way back in the day. He was about to adopt Bow Wow's character, if I remember correctly. And he was in some other stuff. He was like in a few. I don't want to look up his filmography right now, but he was in maybe two or three notable things. And it's not to say that you can't be a great comedian, because Dave Chappelle doesn't have a impressive filmography. To be fair, a lot of comedians don't have the best comedians don't have a great filmography. Like look at Jerry Seinfeld, right? But just on the stand up stage, I think Corey Holcomb is not a contender, right? But let's look at the second half of this. Maybe this is where it'll get interesting.
Everybody try to hide who the fuck they really are when they talk. And if you catch me hiding who I am when I talk, put my ass on blast. But I'm going to tell you something. He brought up the white comics. Dave Chappelle, I would like to ask you, why are you always in business with drag queens and gay comics? Most of the men around you that you have on the road opening up or whatever, some of them be, I know why Earthquake got a special. I know why Paul Mooney was on your show. Homie, I'm in these comedy streets. I know what's happening. Why you ain't talk about that? I like to have men on the Backdoria side around me. Why y'all don't never talk about that? See, that's why.
Wait, what? Okay, let me rewind. I think I'm missing something. Maybe I'm fucking stupid. Let me take this back.
It's on blast. But I'm gonna tell you something. He brought up the white comics.
Yeah, he brought up that Cat Williams was only talking about black comics, and how not even just him, but in general, one thing that black men, I'm just gonna say, it's not even really black. It's not even, I'm not even gonna include black women in this. Black men, because black men, we be the fucking worst at it. One thing that black men tend to do is we tend to shoot at and fire shots at each other in public. Even in the film world, it happens a little bit. Spike Lee, really like Spike Lee, he was taking shots at Tyler Perry, and Tyler Perry ended up with, I'm not a big fan of Tyler Perry, but Tyler Perry ended up doing, I think, a G move and naming a studio in his big studio ranch, the whole Tyler Perry Studios. He named a studio, like a building, after Spike Lee, or like a street or something. So big up to Tyler Perry. But Spike Lee did a movie, and there was another black director who was talking shit about Spike Lee. Boots Riley, the guy who did that weird Sorry to Bother You movie. It was his first fucking movie. He did a thing on Amazon. He did a show on Amazon, which was also weird. I think he's a pretty creative director, but he wrote a whole fucking essay talking shit about Spike Lee, like out of nowhere, talking about, oh yeah, the movie isn't real and blah blah blah. I'm like, what? Why the fuck are you doing this? Like, we just have this weird tendency. It's not a lot of us, but it's just enough of us to at least bother me, right? Um, and I think Kat was kind of perpetuating that, and Dave was simply kind of calling him out. But what the fuck is Corey Holcomb talking about here? I mean, I am lost.
Dave Chappelle, I would like to ask you, why are you always in business with drag queens and gay comics? Most of the men around you that you have on the road opening up or whatever, some of them be, I know why Earthquake got a special. I know why Paul Mooney was on your show. Homie, I'm in these comedy streets. I know what's happening. Why you ain't talk about that? I like to have men on the backdooria side around me. Why y'all don't never talk about that? See, that's why Corey Holcomb ain't no Hollywood superstar, because y'all like to hide who you.
No, niggas, because you're not that good. Stop it. Bro, stop. This is why I don't like. I know I don't like this nigga. No, that's not why, Mr. Holcomb. No. You about to imply that you're not quote unquote cool with gay people and that's why you're not successful. Get the fuck out of here. I'm calling no. That's no. 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 Because there's nothing, if you were that funny, there's nothing preventing you from going up on stage. And mind you, I'm not he's right. He's I'm not even trying to negate his experiences. If he's saying that I think he's implying that Dave Chappelle likes to be on a roll with other gay comics. I'm not sure if he's trying to imply that Dave Chappelle is a homosexual or something of that nature. I don't really know. I don't know what, even if you're gonna say that is true, I don't know what the fuck that has to do with what the fuck Dave Chappelle said. And the sad part is that Corey Holcomb is doing exactly what the fuck Dave Chappelle was even criticized. Like, it's like this is the same shit, and he's making it about himself. Corey Holt, I don't, and I'm not even trying to really go in on this dude, because I respect part of what this dude does in regards to him having his own platform. I mean, look, I'm talking about him, so I'm not going to say he's not irrelevant. I just think that this is just a big old bitter glass of haterade. Let's look at the comment section here. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I don't want to read all read all of that. Is this nobody seriously pretending he's funnier than Dave? Yeah, okay, exactly. Every time this dude talk, he angry and hating on somebody. Exactly. Yep. um, let's see. Let's see. Paul Mooney was hella funny while keeping it real. Yeah, right. No, I mean he mentioned Paul Mooney, and I know Paul Mooney. Look, I don't want to. Paul Mooney was more than likely, a homosexual, so we kind of sort of, people, that was like an open secret. But Paul Mooney is miles and miles and miles funnier than anything Corey Holcomb will ever fucking be. Bottom fucking line. Writing for Richard Pryor, writing for A Living Color. He was supposed to write on Mad TV, but he wrote on the Chappelle show. This is not even fucking close. And this whole notion of like trying to imply, oh, you kicking it with gay people and that's why you're successful. Nah, a motherfucker funny is funny. Richard Pryor also engaged in homosexual activity, but you can't deny that motherfucker was, you can't deny that he's the GOAT. He was like the Michael Jordan of comedy back in the day. He's saying Dave is on the down low, checks out on everything. I've been saying that for years, that Dave Chappelle's hella overrated. I'm not even saying that Dave is not necessarily overrated. Dave is not a real man. That's why Beta Boys love him. Yeah. But anyways, I don't want to harp too much on this. Yeah, Corey Holcomb calling out Dave Chappelle. Yeah. Look, man, I'm just tired. Like these, I don't want to call them fat, washed up comedians because Corey Holcomb can't. Faizon Love, I could say, is maybe a little bit washed up because there was a time where he was in relevant movies, like he was in Friday, and he did a few things. He was in that the couples retreat, even though they took him out the poster, like he was kind of in the mix. Aries Spears on Mad TV for a long time, also in the mix. You can say that he's, even though I wouldn't consider him to be washed up at all, because I've actually seen his stand up, like recent stand up, and his stuff is great. But Corey Holcomb, like he can't be washed up because Corey Holcomb to me was never like on like that. But let me not, we're all nobodies to somebody and a somebody to somebody. Anyway, so that's it for I'm gonna cover for this little thing or whatever. Be sure to like, subscribe. You know the drill. Yes, I got my glasses on still. I'm gonna have my glasses on for a minute until my eye gets better. So I'll see you next time.